Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? And welcome to the one-man low council. Very sorry I'm late. I was watching something with the wife, and I've been having some back issues as well. But I am here. Welcome back once again. We'll be talking a little bit tonight about the Black Widow trailer, a little bit about the box office, and about the show that I was watching with my wife on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. We just watched one episode all about Home Alone, and it was fantastic. If you've never heard of that show and you have Netflix, I would highly recommend it. It goes into the history of how Home Alone was made, all of the chaos that happened behind the scenes where the film almost wasn't made, how originally it was a Warner Brothers film and then eventually became a Fox film because of them not wanting to pay the budget that they had. It's really interesting. If you like movies and movie history and behind the scenes stuff, I would highly recommend it. So hope everyone is doing just fine. And Rosetta Allen, thank you very much for the first super chat of the evening saying, Jeremy made my stream. Odin didn't. Hashtag cancel Odin. Again, very sorry about that. Let's see who is in the chat tonight. We got the D-Laugh fam. We got the YouTube fam as well. Phonema, what's going on? Captain K-Man's here. Captain Dean Heiss is here celebrating a 2-month sub streak. Thank you very much, Captain Dean Heiss. I appreciate that. Captain Will Gentry is also here spamming the chat. And Captain K-Man, good morning. Good evening to you, good sir. Let's see, who do we got over on the YouTube? We've got Orange Chat Reviews. We got Jace Doe, Booyaka, 619, Booyaka. Thank you again for all those digital codes you've been sending me recently. Father Christopher Miller is here. Destiny 28 is here. Slicer Neons, Bruce, Rosetta Allen, the K-Man's over on YouTube. Will Gentry's over on YouTube as well. G-Monkey 76, Dory the Hobbit. We got Mayor Jeremy, Hypernex 13. Mark Lazurth, how is it going? Good, sir. Glad to see you once again. Hopefully we don't have a troll in the chat like we did on Friday Night Tights. Stream Elements is here. Soul Assassin is here as well. Peter Sharon is here. Micah Martinez. And, of course, Tina B. Micah Martinez says, Black Widow looked all right, I guess, but to me, it's 4 years too late. And that's probably one of my biggest criticisms of the Black Widow trailer, is that, for the most part, it looks like a pretty badass movie. For the most part, I like the trailer a lot. There's two elements to it that I have problems with, though. One is the one that you just mentioned. It really is. It's 5 years too late. This is a film that we should have gotten about 5 years ago. And yet, what did they decide to pull first? Oh, yeah. We got Captain Marvel before we got a independent solo Black Widow film. That doesn't make any damn sense. And so that is, I think, a legitimate criticism for us to have, because we're looking at this film and they're trying to bank on the success of Endgame and all the other stuff that's been going on. And I'm looking at them saying, yeah, you could have made and should have made this film a long time ago, and now you're deciding to make it? Okay, I don't suspect any foul play on your part. There's also another major part of it as well that I have issues with that I'll get into in a little bit once I've caught up with the chat. Destiny 28, what's going on? Nickel Noodle says, hello, sir. Did I miss something last week, or did you not stream at all? Yeah, pretty much didn't. I was out of town, and so I was not able to do my normal Tuesday stream, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. I was able to do a little bit of Friday Night Tights, and that's about it. I did Friday Night Tights, and then I did my Chosen of Valhalla stream on Sunday. But yeah, I was not able to stream Saturday or on Tuesday because I was driving on Saturday, and then Tuesday I was also traveling as well. So yeah, did not stream really all week. So did you miss me? Because I know I missed y'all. Micah Martinez says, how's your day been? Day's been going all right. First day back at school after the break because we had Monday off, and my back has just been killing me. I don't know what happened today or just earlier. Something's wrong. Again, something's up with my back. I don't know exactly what's going on. It's just very, very sore, and might have to get that checked out at some point because it does not feel too good right now. Josue, Vegia, what is going on? Gradania, pin drop. Sasha Neon says, it's already 7:05, hashtag Beret played the never. Yes, bring that back, Slicer. Fantastic. Hashtag Beret played the never. If you don't get that joke, you haven't been watching the channel for very long. At least on the live stream game. Yeah, I noticed that we had a downvote. I saw someone just mention that. Tina B says, we already got a downvote, but I hear Mundane Matt is alive and being a bad boy again. He's after Mecha. Is he really? So yeah, he got into a back and forth with me on Twitter, to the point where he started calling out my faith. He started being critical of me, saying, oh, you claim to be a Christian, and yet you're being critical of me. And I'm looking at them saying, like, do you even know that you don't? It's like, seriously, you're going to bring the fact that I'm a Christian against me, calling you out for legitimate reasons? Okay, sure. Good luck with that. Yeah, Mundane Matt is back to being his old mundane self. And I wonder how his channel's doing. Because last time I heard, his channel was not doing too well. But that's neither here nor there. Captain Gentry over on DLive says, for me, it's not that they made Captain Marvel first. It's that they made it 5 years too late, and they waited till Black Widow was dead. Yeah, that's a great point, too. They wait until the character's dead so that they can make a prequel film to try and make people care about the character. Okay, you know, you could have made the film when we did care about the character a lot. You know, it would have been a little bit more commonsensical, don't you think? That's a good point. Mr. Roy, thank you also for sending me some digital codes as well, and for posting that gif of Mundane Matt. Is that him crying? Oh, my goodness gracious. That's fantastic. I love you guys so much. But JJ, what's going on, man? I saw that you just joined the chat. John Early, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, The Flash was great until season 3. Onward, Odin. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that The Flash was a very solid show and then just kind of dove off the rails a little bit the further it went along. And yeah, Tina, I think that Mundane Matt probably is that downvote because he's got nothing better else to do. Alex McCarthy says, howdy, Odin. How's it going? You excited to see Old Man Josiah in the Black Widow movie? Is that the character? Is that the character's name in the trailer, Old Man Josiah? Or is that just is that a joke that I'm not getting? Rosetta Alice says, I'm going to roast you on your 80s knowledge. You do all the time, Rosetta. I appreciate it. Mike Martinez says, that show sounds really interesting. I may have to give it a look. It really is. The one episode that we watched on Home Alone was fantastic. So I would definitely recommend that one for sure. HyberNext13 says, Nas, my brother just came off eating a salad. Time to get swole. Well, you go swole, bro. I will not eat the salad, but you go right ahead. You go right ahead. Destiny28 says, do you watch Vikings? What are your thoughts on it? I do not watch Vikings. Just has never really seemed like my cup of tea. Peekaboos. Thanks for the follow over on DLive. I appreciate it. How is it going, Christine B. Fernandez? How are you doing? Let's see. Over on YouTube, Charzy says, I heard that Birds of Prey action scenes reshots dramatically improve the film. I have plenty of faith now. They said they think it will do good with audiences. Saw a person who looks like you. Okay, gotcha. Well, I still have my doubts about the film because the trailer for it sucks. Just flat out sucks. So even if the action scenes are better, if it has any messaging in it whatsoever, that's going to take away from the film. And the trailer makes it seem like there's a lot of messaging to it. Even the stars of the film are talking about, oh yeah, this character represents white masculine toxicity. It's like, no. If you're going to go on a toxic masculinity rant, then I have no interest in your movie. Get that political crap out of here. Let's just get good films. And that's actually, to be honest, one thing that, not that it's toxic masculinity that I'm concerned about with Black Widow, that trailer, but isn't it interesting that the only male character that is presented is a fat, overweight comic relief character? It isn't interesting that you have almost a stereotype of the typical man, right? If you had the same movie with a mostly male cast and the one female character was a stereotype, what reaction do you think you would get? You'd probably get a lot of criticism for it. And some people can argue rightly so, and some people can argue against it. But I guarantee you're not going to get the same type of criticism for this movie, except for people like me who say, wait a minute, if it doesn't work one way, it shouldn't work the other way either. Again, it's just a trailer, so that's why I'm not making judgments on the film itself, but it is something that I noticed in the trailer. Again, the trailer looks really good for the most part. It's 5 years way too late. Again, I think that Will Gentry made a great point. Not only do you wait 5 years too late, but also you wait until the character is dead in the official movie canon. We all know she's coming back at some point in some way, but it is still something worth talking about. And then also the trailer presents one real male character who is a comic relief, overweight white dude. Something doesn't seem quite right, but again, I will be willing to give it the benefit of the doubt for now, personally. That's just me there. Yo, what is going on, my DLive fam? I see y'all. It's very busy over there today. Phonema says, the trailer looks good, but Disney is dead to me. Oh, well. Yeah, Phonemo, I'm right there with you. Marvel's dead to me. Ever since, of course, This goes back to obviously Captain Marvel, but Endgame too. Endgame was just so disappointing story-wise for me that I just don't really care. The fact that they did what they did to Black Panther, not Black Panther, Black Widow, and now they're saying, oh, but watch this movie. We swear it'll be good. I'm just looking at them saying, wait a minute. No. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to my emotions. Screw you. I will not be so easily bought. Let's see. Over on YouTube, Bruce says, it's called the About Damn Time movie whose trailer is better than Captain Marvel's whole movie. Yeah, the trailer, it definitely, at the very least, is better than that entire film, for sure. Tina says, Steph's on the way, sir. She just got off work. They're getting slammed. Well, very sorry to hear that. It's okay. No problem at all. Mark Lazur says, Knives Out did $27 million over the weekend. I think some had said it was going to pull $45 million, so it did okay, but not a hit, though. Well, here's the thing, is that you're just looking at the domestic numbers for it, because that film did very, very well. That movie made $71.4 million worldwide. Right now, it's made $43 million domestically, $28 million internationally. So, no, the movie, based on its budget, which was about $40 million, is essentially a hit. Now, if it drops crazy, if it has a crazy drop in weekend 2, maybe we can start to have that discussion. But based on the first weekend, things are looking pretty good. Just going to be honest. Again, I don't want it to do well, but I'm not going to lie. Greta, what's going on? Welcome home, Greta. It's been a very long time since I've seen that name in the chat, so everyone show some love to Greta in the chat. Welcome back to Asgard. Glad to have you here. Charzy said, had to cut the letters because my Max characters saw someone that looked like you at the movie theater in Canada. Well, I can be sure it was not me because I have not been to Canada recently. Jace Doe says, the toys that made us, the movies that made us, they need to do the cartoons and TV shows that made us. Jace, I would not be surprised if that's next, because I loved the first episode that I watched on Home Alone. I'm hoping that it's as successful metric-wise as the TV shows that, or the toys that made us, because I want another season. There's only 4 episodes to this season. I'm like, no, I want more movies. I want more behind-the-scenes stuff for so many more movies. And yeah, they have Die Hard, they have Home Alone, they've got Dirty Dancing, and they got Ghostbusters, and those are, good choices, but there are so many more films that I want to know a lot more about. So I'm hoping that it's successful, and if it is, I think cartoons and TV shows that made us will definitely be on the cards. And you know what? Netflix needs that kind of content if they're going to want to keep up with people like Disney. That's for damn sure. They need to start producing a little bit more quality stuff, and if they do more stuff like what I saw so far, then that's exactly what they will be doing. All right, HyperDex13 says, I forgot there was even a Black Widow trailer. Is it even worth the hype? I would say that the trailer's worth a watch because it is, for the most part, a good trailer. Don't let my concerns fool you. The trailer, for the most part, is very good. Black Widow has always been a badass character, and I think that a lot of the characters and actors they're bringing in are, for the most part, very solid. I have my concerns, right? I do have my concerns about it, though. Rosetta Allen says, Black Widow trailer, meh, same as always, Duck Fisney. Charzy says, just watched Deadpool again. Now Careless Whisper is stuck in my head. It's been a while since I've seen Deadpool. Might need to watch that at some point. Father Christopher Miller says, thinking of the movies that made us, ever seen the original Lady Killers from the 50s with Alec Guinness and Pink Panther's Herbert Lorne? I've never seen either versions of the Lady Killers. Super Anime Gamer says, hey, what is up, my dude? What is going on? How is it going, Super Anime Gamer? All right. Chat jumped on me once again, just like it tends to do. Let us see here. Tina says, missed you. I missed you, Tina. Glad to have you. HyperNex13 says, Bane is responsible for your back. Time to give some payback. The fire rises. Yes. Hardwick Bentho says, did you know that one of the showgirls at the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is Kathleen Kennedy? Yes, I did. She's the one in the middle of the screen with her name when her name appears. Yes, I've known of this for a while, and it's one of the many criticisms that's brought against her, saying, hey, go back to those days instead. John Early, thank you for another $2 super chat, says, I hate the way Iris is written and directed. I don't mind Iris for the first couple of seasons. For the first 2 or 3 seasons, I think that her character's serviceable. It's fine. But yeah, as the show goes on, for sure, definitely not nearly as strong as it was. Let us see. Rosetta says, anyone who attacks your faith is not worth anything. Preserve and rise up. Yeah, I agree. You know, the fact that he went after me that way, and yeah, he could go and say, oh, well, you went after me first. It's like, dude, I just called you out for being a false flagger, which you are. And his whole mindset is, oh, but I've apologized and I've moved on. No, you're a proven liar. So why should I believe? You've given me no reason to believe you, because now you're going after people, making up stuff essentially about them. You're going after people like Mecha Random, for example. So it doesn't seem like you've changed at all. In fact, it seems like you've gotten worse. So why should I believe a damn thing you say? Tina says, I have no respect for that horrible man. Didn't know he had attacked you. Yeah, I mean, I went after him, calling him out to be a false flagger, and then he, of course, said, oh, well, that's not very Christian, you know, and then went off and trying to say, well, your faith says this. He's trying to dictate to me what my faith says. And it seems to indicate that he doesn't have the same faith I do. So it's interesting that he claims to be an expert in my faith when he doesn't even seem to have faith at all. Doesn't really make any sense, does it? Alice McCarthy says, the funny thing is Black Widow movie looks better than Endgame. It does. I will say that much. Other than those two critiques that I have, yeah, I would agree with you. If only I really cared. If only I still cared about the MCU at this point. They've given me no reason to care. They half-ass Endgame as far as the story goes, and they are pushing these narratives now where I'm like, okay, so there's a good chance then that Black Widow's going to have some narrative elements to it, and guess what? If that's what you're going to do, then no, I'll pass. Duck Fisney, as we say on the channel. Mr. Millennium says, what's up, Loden? I saw Dr. Sleep and Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and I agree with your takes. Love them both, but wasn't a fan of Dr. Sleep's ending. Yeah, the ending to Dr. Sleep is definitely divisive, and I'm right there with you. I'm not a huge fan of it either. I thought that it was too rushed. I thought that everything was very well paced, meticulous, took their time, and then as soon as that ending comes about, you're like, wait, what? And they could have just done so much more with it. It's really sad. Overall, it's a great film, though. Again, for the most part, it's a solid film with just not a great ending. But yeah, Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood is fantastic. Micah Martinez says, are you going to see Jumanji: The Next Level next weekend? I'm going to see it opening weekend. I'm going to be seeing that the Thursday it opens, for sure, no doubt. That's right, it is coming out, I guess that would be December 12th. That Thursday night is when it's going to come out. Does it come out Friday the 13th weekend? I didn't realize. I tell you, December flies by. As a teacher, I can tell you, once Thanksgiving hits, the year's over. Because we have 9 class days, including today, we have 9 class days until exams. And then we're done. So I'll have a few days, hopefully, to be able to watch some movies in the theater because we have a lot of stuff coming out. And hopefully be able to actually finally start watching stuff at home. But I did just get the PS4 in today. So I played a little Modern Warfare. It needed an update. One thing I've noticed about getting the PS4 is that there is so much content to download. Like, I put the game and I think, oh, I get to play it. And it says, no, you got to download 50 gigs first. And I'm like, but it's on a disc. But you can't play it until the 50 gigs are downloaded. You can't get the full version. And I'm just like, what? This doesn't make sense. Again, I'm a new gamer, right? I'm a very casual gamer. I have my Nintendo Switch, which I got for my birthday a couple months ago. And then just got this. And yeah, I'm still very confused by all of it. So hopefully I get some time to figure that out. Mr. Millennium over on YouTube says, okay, got that one. Superman Anime Gamer says, wait, Monday Matt criticized you for your faith after he's being called out by technically bearing false witness against his false flagging campaign? Amazing. I know, right? And his whole mindset is, well, I apologized and we moved on. Well, okay, you may have apologized. Doesn't mean that you've been forgiven. Hologram Nunchuck, hail there. Hail to you, good sir. Over on the D-Live, Captain Gentry says, okay, I just watched the Black Widow trailer, and honestly, I'm underwhelmed. It hasn't made me excited to go see it, and I think that's a valid criticism to have. I actually am quite excited for it. If it was seen in isolation, I would go see it. If we didn't have the back catalog of recent Marvel films, I would go see it. But we do, and so I'm not really sold either. He continues, all of it made me think of was meh, could be an okay generic action flick. Yeah, you know what? I think you're onto something. I really do. And Christine Fernandez, thank you for the congratulations on the PS4. I appreciate it. Riff Magos, what's going on, Riff Magos, my Australian brethren? Thank you for the super chat. Says, hail Odin. It's nice to catch a live stream. It's amazing how little one cares about Disney Star Wars when one is busy enjoying reading Darth Plagueis. Long live the fandom menace. Well, Riff, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Long live the fandom menace indeed. and I've heard great things about Darth Plagueis. I started listening to the very beginning of the audiobook, and I liked it a lot. I haven't had a lot of time to listen to it. I've only really listened to the very, 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 very beginning of the story, but I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. Yeah, there's great Star Wars out there. There really is. There's great Star Wars stories out there that, Kathleen Kennedy has no idea exists because, as in her own words, we didn't have any source material to go off on the sequel trilogy. We had nothing. We had nothing to use. Oh, okay, Kathleen Kennedy, let's just ignore the vast plethora of novels and comics and all of this stuff, all of these stories that are amazing. The Thrawn trilogy alone would have been an easy slam dunk if you had not had your head so far up your butt to not see it. Let's see. Captain Mr. Roy, thank you for dropping 3 diamonds. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Mr. Roy, for your generosity. I appreciate it. All right, jump back over to the YouTube chat. Let's see here. We've got Alex McCarthy saying, I came up with that. Hopper in Black Widow movie looks like Josiah as an old dude. Well, that's fantastic. And I hope you tell Josiah Rises that, because that sounds pretty great to me. Slice of Neon says, Sheriff Hopper hated Russians, but now he is one. Stranger Things part of the MCU confirmed. Man, oh man, could you imagine a crossover? If Disney wasn't in charge, that could be amazing. Hardwick says, the old man Josiah joke is a reference to Josiah Geeks and Gamers, Josiah Rise. Okay, yeah, got it. Character's actual name is Alexei Shostakov, a.k.a. the Red Guardian. Okay, yeah, so as I've mentioned previously, I'm not a comics person, so I don't know anything about the Black Widow universe, so thank you very much for clarifying that. So the Red Guardian is his name. Rosetta Allen says, I support toxic masculinity. I want men to be men. Mike Martinez says, J.J. Abrams saying that there was no test screenings for Rise of Skywalker is complete crap. The movie definitely had at least 1 or 2 test screenings. Well, here's the thing, and I'm not even going to use any sources. I love Jeremy's take on sources. Well, your sources, I got my sources over here, and your sources. I love his take. But even though I have no sources to back this up, any movie that's coming out in, 3-4 weeks is gonna have had a test screening. You don't make a movie without testing it out with an audience. Even if it's Lucasfilm employees, even if it's a tight-knit group of people, you're gonna test it in front of somebody that's not a producer. You have to. You have to be able to realize what beats work, what beats fall flat, how can we improve, how can we not. Every single film at some point does it. Unless it's like some low-budget film that has no time to do anything, any film that has any sense of a budget is going to have some sort of a test screening just to make sure that it works out. And if he's honestly saying, we don't have a test screening, then that to me kind of confirms that the film is probably not going to be very good, because it means you are having an untested film in front of a mass audience that has not been gone through the paces of testing. So either you're an idiot, which might be true, or they had test screenings and they're lying about it, which probably is also true. Because you know what? I think all things can be true at once. Tina says, haven't seen the trailer, but my question is, death has no meaning anymore in these movies. Well, just to answer that really quickly, it is a prequel. So it's about the history and development of the character of Black Widow. That's how they're getting around it, is that it's a prequel to the events of Endgame. I imagine they're going to have it tie into the events of Endgame so that they can explain it and bring her back. But that's what we have at this point in time. Benjamin Claxton, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. I appreciate it. Jumping over to D-Live, Captain Dean High says, so now Jar Jar Abrams says there's no test screenings of Episode 9. I know, seriously, isn't it amazing what they're doing over there? And Captain K-Man, thank you for the 2 ice cream donations. Sounds delicious. HyperX13, call me a boomer, but I miss the good old days when there were compelling characters that didn't concern gender and all that stuff. That's just me. Hey, no, that's not a boomer moment at all. That's common sense. I want to be able to simply enjoy movies, enjoy TV shows, without having to worry about social narratives. Just be able to sit back and say, this is good. I'm enjoying this. Instead of constantly being preached to about, you have to watch this because if you don't, you're toxic. Or you have to watch this or you're a racist. You have to watch this or you're sexist. I'm sick of that crap. I really am. I just want good movies, good stories. Why do you think Joker did well? Because Joker didn't push a political narrative. You can argue that there's politics in there because there definitely is a conversation to be had about what it says about the rich versus those that don't have anything. But it doesn't push it. It doesn't say one's right and one's wrong, because you're seeing all this chaos happen and you're not supposed to say, yeah, those guys are the good guys. No one thinks the clowns are the good guys. And if you think the clowns are the good guys, then there might be something wrong with you. Now, if you think, hey, I think that both sides have a point, however, this is not the way you go about it, that's common sense. But Joker is a great film, and that's why so many people went to go see it. That's why that film easily crossed $1 billion and is still making money. It's outpacing films that just came out. Films like Charlie's Angels, which barely made $100,000. Keeping this in mind, Charlie's Angels has been out for, 3 weeks? On Monday, it made only $100,000. Oh, my goodness gracious. Tech Guy says, didn't Scarlett go a little more woke lately? She's back and forth with it. I mean, she's a Hollywood elitist, so she's going to have those mindsets in general. She just hasn't been as outspoken as some of her co-stars on it, but yeah, she's definitely going in that direction for sure. It's kind of like the name of the game, though. If you don't do it, you don't really work in Hollywood, unfortunately. Bruce says, in the next Doctor Strange, you will bring her back from an alternate timeline into ours. Bet me money. I think that's a good argument. I think that's very likely what's going to happen. Well, and you know what? To be honest, they don't even have to do that. They've already established that time travel can happen. They've already established that there's multiple timelines, or at least they insinuated there's multiple timelines, and they don't really care about how the how the Rogers, that whole timeline thing doesn't make any damn sense, because they explain in the movie, based on the rules of the movie, if you go back in time, you create a new timeline. And yet they go back in time again, which presumably makes another timeline to fix the old timeline, but you can't do that if you've created a new timeline. You see what I mean? It doesn't really make any damn sense. And yet Steve Rogers is able to go back in time, live out his life, and it doesn't affect the present? Okay. In the words of Joe Pesci, okay, sure. Charlie says, not the only man, Taskmaster is a man. Yeah, but they didn't, but as you know, they didn't show that clearly enough. The only person that you see specifically clearly as a male is that character. Orange Hat Reviews says, I used to be excited for MCU films. I watched that trailer and felt nothing. Crickets in my feelings inside of my brain. I will see it only because Dave Harbour is in it. Yeah, and you know what? He said some crazy stuff too. But I agree, man. I used to be excited for every new Marvel trailer. I used to be so pumped to find out what was going to happen next. And ever since Endgame, and really prior to Endgame, but Endgame kind of was the nail in the coffin for me, I feel, as you said, feel nothing. I'm just like, okay, all I see now is kind of like the huge money grubbing, crap that it actually is. Let's just make a quick buck on the least amount of effort possible. And it's really sad because there are some really talented people behind the scenes on a lot of those films. Michael Martinez, the MCU really should have taken a 2 to 3 year break after Endgame. Yeah, you know what? Get themselves back on track. Hell, you should have been focusing instead on making these MCU shows for Disney Plus. Let the Disney Plus shows run for 2 to 3 years, developing characters and stories, and then come back. But they're not going to do that because Disney cares only about money, not telling good stories. You can tell good stories and make money. Joker is a great example of that. They would rather make the quick buck and not worry about telling great stories. Jumping over to D-Live, Captain the K-Man, thank you again for those 2 ice creams. Phone Nemo says, Skywalker is going to be a dumpster fire, a horrible dumpster fire. It's seeming more like that every single day. Let's see. Like Weed, thank you for the lemon donation. I appreciate it. Captain Will Gentry says, it's like I said, if they stuck to the Hitchhiker's Guide rules to time travel, they would have been fine. But no, exactly. They couldn't do that. They couldn't even go and stick to the Back to the Future time. Because even if you could, make that not make sense, breaking it down scientifically, it at least logically works. You say, oh no, you go back in time and change things, the entire future changes. That seems to make sense to me. They couldn't even do that, though. They had to say, we want the best of all worlds, even though it doesn't make any sense. We'll do whatever it is that we want to do, and then we'll disagree with it. If you want to know why they're time travel, if you're still a person trying to justify endgame time travel, look up interviews with the directors and the writers, who both say completely different things about how time travel works. If your directors and your writer don't agree on how something works, there's a problem, especially something that is as crucial to the plot of Endgame as time travel. Go ahead, Look it up for yourself. Alrighty. Captain Heist also says, I used to think I was the most cynical person around, but after watching you for a while, I feel like I am just a biker. Hey, man, there's a reason why I say I'm the critic who's a cynic. I keep it real, man. I keep it real. See, over back on YouTube, Greta says, I've been trying to catch a stream for a while, but I was always working when you were streaming. Well, I'm glad that you're off to be able to sit back and enjoy, hopefully. Hardwick says, have you ever considered using Ride of the Valkyries as the music at the beginning and endings of your streams? It's been a question of, I've actually never thought of using that music. I like the music that I have, though. It's royalty free, and so I'm pretty dead set on keeping those. I'm assuming that those would be a part of the public domain, so I would be able to use Ride of the Valkyries, but that would be my only concern, would be possible copyright infringement, which I don't want to do. Which I don't want to violate. Mr. Millennium says, I used to love Endgame when it came out, but I've come to hate it over the last few months. Unfortunately, such a rushed waste of potential. Yeah, I think that the more people watch it and think about it, they realize, wow, yeah, it really isn't as great of a film as I thought. I can understand why people might still enjoy it. You know, all of the emotional beats are there, characters that you've cared about for a long time. I understand that. But when you step back and say, but what about the story? What about what it does to what everything that came beforehand and what's coming after? You just realize that it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. And I think that the more time that goes by, the more people will start to realize that. Bruce says, I'm so hyped. Just from this one trailer, I do not need to see anything else to be sold on this Black Widow movie. Bruce, I'm glad you're excited for it, man. You know, I wish that I could join you there, but I just can't. Based on everything we've seen previously, I just can't join you. Hardwick says, it would be neat if the Movies That Made Us has an episode about the Rocketeer. Yeah, sadly, they don't have one yet, but hopefully as the years go on, they start to add more movies that would include classics like that. Alrighty, let's see. Where are we in the chat? The chat has jumped on me again. All right, sadly, it looks like some chats may have been skipped. Very sorry about that indeed. The only chat I have now, or starting with the chat from Charzy. So Charzy says, I heard they might introduce Deadpool in Phase 5. The only way I think they can make it work is if it's rated R. If they make a Deadpool 3, they have to make it dark like Fox. Yeah, I just don't know if Disney's going to do it. They say they will. They say they're not going to touch the stuff that they've been doing. But I don't believe them. I don't really trust them. I don't really take them at their word at this point. But again, if your chat was skipped, I'm sorry. Just so you all know, I do read the chat. If anyone tags me at Odin Question, or actually just even Odin Question, you don't have to put the @ symbol. If you just put Odin Question, all one word, it pops up orange on my screen, and then it lets me know you're trying to get my attention. So that's the best way to reach out to me. If you super chat or donate, I will appreciate it, and you'll get your comment read much faster. And when chats are crazy like it is tonight, there is a chance where if you're just trying to get your comments read in the chat without super chatting, etc., there is a chance that the comment might get skipped. Not on purpose, but because YouTube sucks, and YouTube doesn't keep all the chats like it should. Instead, it just skips ahead, and then you can only go back so far. So if you want to make sure your comment gets read aloud, you're going to need to super chat or donate through Streamlabs, but you don't have to. If you want to put it in the regular chat, you can, free of charge. Just put Odin Question, all one word. But it also means I'm usually about 20 to 30 minutes behind in the chat because that's just the nature of the beast. All right, Rosetta Allen says, I want to hear a hail, hail, hail from the chat for the Phantom Menace. You are all amazing. Well, thank you, Rosetta. I appreciate that. J Money J, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, hey, Odin, what were your initial thoughts of seeing David Harbour as Red Guardian as the comic relief for a brief moment in the trailer? David Harbour I actually like him as an actor. I think as an actor on screen, he's very, very talented. And once he was Red Guardian, I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. But my criticism of that, J Money, is something that I mentioned earlier. It's one of the two criticisms I have of this trailer for Black Widow. And that is that it's interesting that the only clearly male character is turned into a fat slob who is the comic relief. And I think that there's some messaging behind that. I think that there's intention behind that choice. Now, does that mean I'm going to, whine and complain that oh my gosh, they're mistreating men? No, I'm not going to do that. You might have SJWs complain when they do that for a female character saying, oh my gosh, they're just exploiting her. We're not going to do that for him. We're merely going to point out the hypocrisy of, if this was a female character and it was a similar stereotype and it was a mostly male cast, you wouldn't hear the end of it. You would have Mary Sue writing up article after article about it. You'd have people in the ABC, NBC, all of the mainstream media going crazy over the sexism. But when it happens to a male character, white male character at that, not a peep. Oh, no. It's nuanced. It's great. Hypocrisy. That's what I call it. Hypocrisy. So those are my thoughts on it, J Money. Thank you for the super chat. All right, back to the YouTube chat. Super Anime Gamer says, currently giddy as hell because all my Blu-ray orders from Amazon came today. Got the Pacific for $11. Nice, dude. Yeah, there were some really good TV deals and movie deals. The two movies that I picked up for Black Friday, if you didn't watch my Black Friday video, were The Dark Knight on 4K, which I'm very excited for, and The Shining on 4K as well. Also picked up the PS4 with some games, and I'm still in the process of setting that up. All right, Father Christopher Miller says, what about Mel Brooks' 1968 Producers? Yes. Only seen it one time, and I may not have even seen all of it all the way through, but I love the musical version of that movie, but the original is also very good. All right, jump back over to D-Live for a hot minute. Let's see, Phone Nemo says, I blame Hipster Hulk. Yeah, Hipster Hulk was a bad move. Captain Gentry says, if your directors and your writers disagree on how time travel works, you end up with an Endgame-style mess. Yeah, exactly. You end up with Endgame and all the plot holes when you have a director and writer disagree on a major plot point. He also goes on, I love and hate Endgame. I love it for the spectacle and how it ties things up for Tony et al. As for the rest, it's a real letdown. I think that's a great example. I think that's a great breakdown of the film. There are some really great elements to it, but there's also some really bad elements, and the bad elements are really bad. And Christine B. Fernandez says, I noticed that too, and I agree about the trailer for Black Widow. Well, thank you. Yeah, Christine, I think that there is something to be said for it. Again, you're not going to hear me just whine and complain about how they're mistreating men. I'm rather going to point out the hypocrisy of it all. The CJH, thank you very much for the lemon donation. I appreciate it. All right, back over to the YouTube chat. Rosetta Allen says, remember, Jesus trashed the temple, chased people with a bullwhip, and called them a den of vipers. Brood of vipers. Den of thieves. A term that means servants of Satan. Yeah, pretty much. But people don't want to talk about that they don't want to talk about that Jesus. They want the Jesus that's all loving and accepting and there's nothing wrong at all. And, he accepts everyone as they are and doesn't want to correct anyone, which just isn't true. Christ says, come follow me, but do not sin again, right? Come follow me, but you need to change your life. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that Mundane Matt doesn't have a point in that maybe I should have some things that I have to work on myself, because guess what? There are things that I have to work on myself. But you, Mundane Matt, don't have the right to go after me for what you think, what you perceive my belief is when you don't even understand what I believe. You have no concept of it based on the words that you said. J Money J, thank you for the $10 super chat. Wow, thank you, dude. Says, at this point of time in the MCU, considering the possible woke tone of going into Phase 4, having Black Widow set up as the start of a new chapter, do you think Black Widow could make $1 billion? I think that it could make $1 billion only because it's coming out at the best time, really, for a lot of Marvel films, which is that month of May. It's always been very, very strong for Marvel films. It's going to have crazy marketing. We know this. It's going to have the entire Disney machine behind it. And even if they do go completely woke in the marketing, there is a very good chance it could reach the $1 billion point. Now, with that being said, there's still a lot of months to go between now and May. There's a lot of choices that they have to make and how they market and promote the film. The actors have a long time to make up and say a lot of stupid crap. If you piss off the fandom, though, you could have a film that is not as successful as it should be. But we still have a little bit of time, J Money J, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I think that there is a chance it could still reach $1 billion point. But they could definitely mess that up. That's for damn sure. Michael Martinez says, I really want to care about the MCU, but geez, it's so hard to now duck Disney. Yeah, absolutely. Rosetta says, so clearly we are not called to tolerate ungodly acts. Yeah, I mean, the hypocrisy of, or rather the very little understanding that he has of Scripture is phenomenal. HyperX13 says, all we need is Dr. Woke after Sleep and Shining, and we'll have the best trilogy since The Lord of the Rings and Dark Knight. Wait, all we need is Dr. Woke after Sleep and Shining, and we'll have the best trilogy since The Lord of the Rings and the Dark Knights. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's not do that. Oh man, I assume you just meant like Doctor like awoken, like actually waking up from sleep, and not like woke as in being culturally woke. But let's not make that a trilogy, please. John Early says, "All Father, I think you'd be glad to know that Todd Phillips' Joker film is coming to digital 12/17 and on discs January 7th. I know this. I already got my notification from Best Buy because I already bought the Steelbook, so I was notified myself." Bruce says, I am now insisting you work on the movie pile. Trust me, man. I know. It would be great to finally have a few days to actually not have to do anything. But you know how the holidays go. You have to split time with family. Family comes first. Family gets the focus. But it also means that I just lose time in being able to do the things that I know I kind of want to do. Alex McCarthy says, so I watched the new Lady and the Tramp movie. I would have given it an 8 out of 10, but with the obvious forced diversity and changing the Siamese cat song, I give it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard they changed a lot of elements of it because they wanted to be more PC. Socks Neon, 17 days until the day of days for Star Wars fans. You will find me in the theaters like a good fan watching Jumanji, or will #execute order 1977. Yeah, so I will actually be in theaters on opening day seeing Star Wars, not from my own money, but because my friend, my good pal, John Flickinger of the Flickpick channel, got me a ticket to go see it in IMAX. So huge shout out to you, good sir. But yeah, I thought at first that we were going to a screening together, and then it wasn't until after the fact that he told me he had bought the tickets to the IMAX, and I was like, oh, well, thank you. So I will be seeing it, and that means I will be getting back to you guys as soon as I finish it. So opening night, I'll get you guys the information that you need to know. Hardwick says, I hope that Black Panther is good for multiple reasons. I've been wanting it to be made for years. It's Natasha's swan song, and Rachel Weisz and the iconic villain Taskmaster are in it. And I understand why any fans of the comics especially would want the film to be good. But as a cynical, jaded Marvel guy, I have no hope for it anymore. Tina says, I just watched a YouTuber review of Dr. Sleep, and he said he felt it slightly rushed despite being 2.5 hours. I decided I don't really need it. Happy with The Shining. Yeah, I think that you would be fine just with The Shining. I still like it a lot. I still vouch for that film. It's going to be actually in my top movies of 2019, so I would still recommend it for sure. The ending is rushed. The whole movie is very well paced up until the ending. So I would say watch it until the ending and then, kiss all hope goodbye. Soul Assassin says, do you know any good laptops? I should get. My old one just died during Thanksgiving. You picked a bad time to ask because Black Friday sales just ended. You might be able to find some good deals still on Amazon. But I know the Razer laptops, the Razer gaming laptops have gotten a lot of really good reviews. Many of them with the processors in there, you can do a lot of multitasking. So I would look into those, the Razer laptops. I follow a lot of tech channels, and I know that one of my favorite tech channels is Unbox Therapy. Great YouTube channel. I'd recommend looking it up. And he is personally using a Razer laptop, and he swears by it. So that would be my recommendation. Bruce says, Disney Marvel did Black Widow a major finger for waiting this long. Yeah, for sure. Gave a huge middle finger, not just to Black Widow, but to the fans too. Because if fans have been clamoring for anything, it's been that movie. And now they decide to give it. Interesting timing, Disney. Rob D says, games don't play off the disc anymore. They install to the hard drive, and the disc is just an unlock key. Games would take forever to load with disk drive speeds. Is that the case, Rob D? That kind of pisses me off then, because if it's just going to be uploaded onto the actual system, why can't I just play it without the disc? And I know it's because of the disc key, but I'm still like, yeah, but you might as well just... My biggest problem with modern gaming systems is that I think that they should include a digital copy of the game with every digital disc. With every digital copy, or rather with every physical copy. And I know what you might be saying, oh, they're afraid that people are going to give away their digital copy, etc. Okay, I hear you there. But there's ways that you can get around that. All you really need to do is, again, just like you said, have the disc key, and you can say you can only register this to one system at a time or something to that effect. That would make it so much easier. That would make it so much easier to do, and then you wouldn't have to worry about just putting the disc in every 5 seconds. Let's see. Rosetta Allen, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, Josiah, Ryan, Mary, also on my stream. # cancel Odin. Rub it in, why don't you? Rub it in, why don't you? J Money J, thank you once again for another super chat, for a $25 super chat. Thank you. Says, one more question from me. Since the Star Wars sequel trilogy has received backlash ever since The Last Jedi and Solo movies bombing at the box office and all these leaks about Rise of Skywalker, do you think it will make $1 billion? There's a good chance it won't. And with the fact that the early projections for opening weekend have the movie now coming in under The Last Jedi is significant. And this is the reason. If the film makes less opening weekend than The Last Jedi, and if the drop is even somewhere close to what it was for The Last Jedi from week 1 to week 2, you have a film that might not make $1 billion. Last Jedi only made $1.3 billion. Compare that to the $2 billion of Force Awakens. There's a chance that you could have these diminishing returns continue. It making $300 million less is not completely out of the ballpark. If it's already going to come in under what Last Jedi did opening weekend, there's a very good chance you could see something similar happen with its overall total. Not to mention, China does not want it. China has not liked Disney Star Wars. Every film, all the way up until the present, has made less money. Yes, Last Jedi made less money in China than Rogue One did. That, to me, is a significant figure. Of course, Solo made less than all of them, but that's because Solo was just a train wreck. That being said, though this film might technically make more than Solo, which could happen because, again, Solo was just its own entity in a lot of ways, you could see the film make so little money that it comes in under the $1 billion mark. My current range, my current tracking, and this is just based on what I'm seeing in pre-sales and also what I'm seeing from the fandom, is I suspect between $850 and $1.1 billion. So either $850 million is my minimum, $1.1 billion is the maximum that I'm predicting for The Rise of Skywalker. Now, those numbers are not scientific. That's just my gut feeling. Again, just comparing it to previous films, the law of diminishing returns on sequels, and everything we know about China and all the stuff going on with the box office. There's a good chance it could still reach $1 billion because it is still a Star Wars movie, and there are still a lot of people that do want to see it. We can't deny these facts, but there is a very good chance that it could come short of that $1 billion range. It's going to be interesting to see. I can't wait for us to actually get raw totals from the box office on that because, as I said, if it comes in under Last Jedi, if the opening weekend is under Last Jedi, there's a very good chance that we'll see it come in under $1 billion. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Tina over on YouTube says, but if Kathleen Kennedy said there's no source material, there must not be because whammon. And remember, chitlins. Funny that you should mention that, Tina. One of my students mentioned chitlins today, asking if I've ever heard about them. And I said, well, funny you should say that because there's because someone and me and Tina, I didn't say Tina, but I said someone and I just talked recently about chitlins. And I told them the comparison that you made between Chitlins and The Last Jedi. If you want to find out more about Chitlins and The Last Jedi, check out the last Chosen of Asgard stream on the channel. It's still live on the channel. Bruce says, no source material. I fought in your general direction, Mrs. Kennedy. Yep. Grandmaster Yoda says, Kathleen Kennedy ignored the EU books, was 2019's biggest facepalm. Yep. Absolutely. 70B says, you will see this late, but hi. Oh, hi, Stephanie B. How's it going? Glad you are here. Hope everything is calmer now. Greta says, I usually don't read leaks, but I did for The Rise of Skywalker, and it's incredible what they came up with and think it's at least passable for a Star Wars movie. Really? So Greta actually has a positive view of the leaks. I don't know if you're reading the same leaks that I did, but the leaks that I read were not good. They were pretty bad, especially the whole Harry Potter ending with the Force Ghost showing up and everything. I'm like, yeah, let's not do that. Alice McCarthy says, in the comics, Red Guardian is a Soviet version of Captain America, but like the MCU did with Black Widow, they didn't give him or her the super soldier serum, so he got old and round. So is that comics-based then, and not just movies-based? Tia Slicer says, my anonymous sources are talking your anonymous sources out to the woodshed. Hashtag tough love. Well, my anonymous sources that don't exist say that your anonymous sources are wrong. Odin Bruce says, just a side note, we need more lens flare. Yeah, let's not. Mikey Martinez, it baffles me that they made a Captain Marvel movie before Black Widow. It baffles my mind too. It makes no damn sense. But they did it. Venom Broly 93, I don't think I'm going to watch The Mandalorian. Don't care at all of the franchise anymore, to be honest. I understand your frustrations. I can understand why you would say no to The Mandalorian overall. I will say this much, though. It is, for the most part, a pretty good show. Episode 4 was not very good. Episode 4 stole from a lot of other stories and was not that compelling. It was just not compellingly directed. And Bryce Dallas Howard, guess what she did, everybody? She got on social media and said, oh, the reason why Episode 4 was so great was because of the strong women behind the scenes. You know which director didn't do that? That's right, Deborah Cho, who said, no. Let's stop this nonsense. I want to be a good director. I don't care. Don't focus on the fact that I'm a woman or that stuff doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. All that should matter is that I'm a good director, and that's what my focus is going to be on. And then you have Bryce Dallas Howard coming in, directing the worst episode of The Mandalorian, and then she's going to come out and say, oh, strong women. I mean, there are these connections that we can make. I will say this much, though. Baby Yoda is still adorable. I don't care what RK Outpost has to say, because at the end of the day, Baby Yoda is phenomenal. Baby Yoda is love. Baby Yoda is life. CWD Trixie says, even though they were not all that good, the Charlie's Angels movies back in the 2000s were at least fun, something the remake clearly failed at. Yeah, well, the very fact that it's only made $51 million in 3 weeks, yeah, I would say it failed pretty epically at that, and I would agree. I think that they were at the very least fun. Not good films, but at least fun. Hardwick says, that Black Widow is a prequel is a plus for me, as I don't like the post-Endgame setting. If it's good, I can pretend that it's a Phase 3 movie. Hardwick, I think that's a good point. I think that you could definitely get away with that. Nathan Slay, if Marvel really cared about doing a Black Widow movie, they would have given her a movie sooner. Yep. But they instead waited, and now I don't trust anything they're going to do with that character. Not at all. Bruce says, timeline. We need more timeline. Yeah. Zach Gregg, hail Valkyrie and Odin. Hail to you, Zach. John Early says, oh, Father, I think Joker did the Christopher Nolan's inspiration for The Dark Knight Rises better, which was that book, A Tale of Two Cities. It didn't make much sense to me, but okay. Charzy said, I want the Marvel era to end. I want DC to make good films like they have recently. They've already done that by making Joker. If they can make more films like Joker, and they can somehow cut any wokeness from Birds of Prey, which I don't think they'll be able to do, and I don't think they want to do it, they could potentially take over. But you're going to need to convince a lot of people, though, because Marvel's got the people. DC doesn't have it. You can argue DC until you're blue in the face, but box office numbers don't lie. They've not been making a lot of money. Unless you look to films like Aquaman, which was recent, unless you look to films like, obviously, Joker, which was a great film. Again, the best film in the DC universe so far, but even that film has been said is an independent film. It's not a part of the DCEU. When you look to actual DCEU films, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the two strongest. And even they are tremendously flawed movies. Again, Aquaman's a C+. Wonder Woman's a B-. So you're still dealing with not having an A film in the DCEU, and the box office matches that by the very fact that the biggest movies they've had, BVS and Justice League, was an atrocity. Justice League essentially lost money based on how much it cost to make and how little they made from the box office in returns. So, yeah, I would love to see the DC Universe step up, but they need a lot. They have a lot of work to do, that's for sure. HyperNext13 says, shoot, I've been meaning to ask, what are your thoughts on the Joker sequel? Honestly, I'm not a fan of the idea, but I understand why it could be potential. Well, it has not been confirmed. There was a lot of misinformation put out, and it has not been confirmed. And I think it's an idea that's being thrown around, but they need to get everyone back. And I don't know if they could get that same team back to do the film again. I think Joaquin Phoenix might be ready to move on, personally. You know, everyone says, yeah, but he joked on set about a sequel. Yeah, it's a joke. He joked about it. So is it possible? Sure. Absolutely, it's possible. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it would be the best decision. If they do it right, it could be good. But that's a big if. It's kind of lightning in a bottle. You can't really catch it twice, usually. Harwick says, I'm very nervous about how they're going to handle Taskmaster. They might even pull a twist and reveal that he's actually Melina, Rachel Weisz's character. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me, based on the directions they're deciding to go in now. HyperNext13 got you already. Door to Hobbit says, Disney making Planet of the Apes reboot, another cash grab movie. Wait, they're doing it again? You just finished the Caesar trilogy. They just finished the Caesar trilogy, which was fantastic. Don't remake it. You don't need to. You're not going to get any higher than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is one of the best films of recent time, especially with the CGI work they do in that film. All right, jumping over to D-Live. Captain Dean Heiss says, who was the director of Hurt Locker? Great movie. Didn't matter. Director was a woman. That was Catherine Bigelow. Guess what else Catherine Bigelow made? Point Break. Arguably one of the best action film, or one of the best 80s films of all time. Was it an 80s film? Yeah, I guess that was an 80s, 90s film. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter. The gender of the person does not matter. Anyone that argues, a female director is going to do this role so much better because she's a woman. No, shut up. A good director will do the work no matter what their gender is. If only we can actually start to have honest discussions with each other instead of this nonsense. Jay Stowe, all this talk about strong women in movies and shows, they will never mention the likes of Linda Carter, Jenny Samantha, Morticia, Barbara Ed, Kathy Bates, and many others that we have had. Yes, that's a great point because they don't fit the narrative. It's all about narrative with these people. If they don't have their narrative set, then it doesn't exist. If a female actress does not fit the narrative of what they think female actresses should be, they don't count. They don't believe they exist. And it's really sad. It is really, really, really sad. Tina says, I was trying to watch Bob's Burgers on Hulu and had to keep switching the channel to escape Rise of Skywalker trailers. I can't even watch a good show for their Disney trash. Yep, and they've got that controlling stake in Hulu, so get ready for a lot more of it. Rosetta Allen, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, Ryan has me, Baby Yoda is Satan. No, Baby Yoda is not. Baby Yoda is adorable and precious and awesome. And anyone says, yeah, but you know what? How is he so good at the Force powers? Well, he's 50 years old for one. Yeah, he might be a baby, but we still don't know where he comes from. They could easily explain a lot of this stuff, and they might. John Favreau might actually be the one to say, hey, guess what? I'm actually going to let the fans know what's going on instead of making crap up. But also, he's the one plot point we have that kind of just tears apart any argument one has of comparing him to Rey is, no, Rey was a teenager, young adult, like in their 20s. Baby Yoda's been around for 50 years, meaning that Baby Yoda's had 50 years to be like, oh, I can do this whenever I use that. It's still very raw. He can't do what Rey's been doing. He can't lightsaber battle, at least not at this point in time. So, yeah, I think the comparisons are silly. But no, Baby Yoda is amazing. Grandmaster Yoda says, both Endgame and Captain Marvel Steelbook was still at my local vendor before Black Friday. Now only Captain Woke is left. I wonder why. Because people still generally like Endgame and want to own it, and it was on sale for very cheap. No one wants Captain Marvel. Seriously, it's a film that not a lot of people really want. Nathan Slay, the only reason I want to see Black Widow because I have enjoyed watching ScarJo play her. And again, I think that she's done a great job with it. I think that's definitely reasonable, for sure. Jeremy Swiggs says, Ryan wasn't consistent with time travel definition in Looper. Yeah, very good. Very good point. CW Trixie says, how does time travel work? It doesn't. That's a good point. But it should at least, if you're making a movie, it needs to make sense. Your narrative needs to make sense. And so that's why that's why I care about it so much. Destiny 28 Endgame felt like both the directors and writers kept trying to show their own version of time travel, and it just made the whole movie a mess. Destiny, that's what happened. Go ahead, look up the interviews for yourself. That is exactly what they're doing. They don't agree on time travel, so they're just saying, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is what I think. Directors at the end of the day have the ultimate say, but it creates a giant mess. Zach Gregg says, Odin is the god of cynical. Yes. Alex McCarthy, the way time travel works is you need a DeLorean, flux capacitor, plutonium, or trash, and 1.21 gigawatts. Great Scott. Tom Norton, when are you and Anna going to do your Alita crossover? Also, how do you feel about James Cameron working with Disney on Alita? Yeah, there's still a lot of question marks about what Alita 2 is going to look like. The rumors now are that we could see Alita 2 come in a TV series form on Disney Plus. I don't like it. Alita deserves to be seen on the big screen. I don't think Alita is going to work as a TV show. I really don't. And I think that is something that James Cameron hopefully takes into consideration. I really do. So, yeah, but Alita crossover, it would be really cool to get Anna. But Anna, of course, a lot of crap happened. A lot of really serious stuff happened when we were originally planning to do that. So things have just kind of fallen behind. And so hopefully we're able to get back on track with that, because there's like 3 streams that we need to do, because we need to do our Alita crossover stream. We need to do our fight over The Shape of Water. We need to do our Avatar fight stream. There's so many things that we need to do, but she's been doing a lot of her own thing recently. And so if she ever wants to do it, I'm down. Peter Han says, is cookie cutter movie making going to be a new thing with all big budget movies going forward? Keep shooting until testing is optimized. Yeah, I think so, Peter. I think that's definitely the future, because it's easy, it's cheaper for them to do so, and if audiences continue to buy into it no matter what, they're not going to stop. The only way that we can stop that from happening is if we hold on to our wallets and say, no, that's okay. That's okay. All right, chat jumped on me again, so hopefully no comments were skipped, but based on what I'm seeing, it looks like, yes, sadly, comments were indeed skipped. So I'm very sorry about that indeed. I have a comment from JJ. JJ says, "'Tis the season of giving. Check your PayPal when you get a second." What'd you do? JJ, what'd you do? What did you do, JJ? Let me check. Let me check my email. Oh, JJ, thank you very much, man. So JJ just gave $125 through PayPal and says, Joker 4K times 2, Joker Blu-ray times 2. Damn, son. Wow. JJ, you let me know in the regular chat whether you want me to do that giveaway tonight or not. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Always helping with those giveaways, because I was completely cashed out, so I would not have been able to do it otherwise. So thank you, man. Let's see. Destiny 28 says, Rise of Soywalker is going to be a disaster. I don't want to see it, but I'm going to so I can close off this chapter from now and move on. You see, you know what? I would understand, and that's why the Phantom Menace is not about going after you for liking Star Wars as it is now or anything like that. And for anyone out there that says, I want to see it because I want to end it, you know what? I think that's a legitimate reason to see it. If you say to yourself, this is, by their own admission, the last in the Skywalker saga, meaning we're not getting any more Star Wars movies, allegedly, of course, in the Skywalker saga. So for anyone that says, you know what, if this is the end, yeah, it sucked. Yeah, Last Jedi was terrible, but you know what? I want to just see, I just want to end the damn thing. You know, I've been with it for these many years, and so just because of completion, I have to see it. I think that's a reasonable reason to go see it. Some people might not like me saying that, but I think that's reasonable. Rosetta Allen says, sorry, just pointing out the facts. Orange at Reviews says, we actually don't need to wait for the cast to say stupid things. ScarJo already went full SJW when she blamed men for being hyper-sexualized. Yeah, and it's just going to get worse, though. I would say that it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. No doubt in my mind. I still have that one dislike. Must have been from Mundane Matt. He was like, yeah, I must downvote you. Mr. Millennium, you have the nicest mods of any other stream I've been on. Well, thank you, Mr. Millennium. I love Tina and Steph. They are not just mods, they're Valkyrie. They're badass Valkyrie. And I think that they are definitely the best out there. No question about it. They're, especially when it comes to, and we all know this, Tina is a well of knowledge. You ask her anything about classic cinema, she will have the answer. Which is why everyone in the chat right now needs to be like, hey, stick to the New Year's resolution and start your YouTube channel. Starting in January, Tina, you need to start that YouTube channel because you know what? If you make it all about classic cinema, to be honest, if you're still watching this, I would love to see a crossover with Tina and Greta because both of their minds together, oh my gosh, classic cinema knowledge, cinema history overload. That to me would be a show I would want to watch. So maybe y'all should talk to each other. I think that'd be interesting to see. Captain Wingster says, hello, white man. I'm going to sleep now. Have a good night. Thank you, troll. My pet troll, Captain Wingster. I love you, man. Thank you. Says, hello, white man. Well, yeah. You're very observant. Father Christopher Miller, thank you very much, Father, for the $2 super chat. Says, I'll wait until the Rift Tracks commentary comes out. For Rise of Soywalker, I think you might be waiting a while there. Yeah. Don't double dip, Charzy. I see you double dipping over on D-Live. All right. One of the things that comes with leaving a comment in the general chat is that your comment might get skipped. So if you care about your comment being read, think about a super chat. Think about a donation. I'm not trying to make people donate because that's not my goal here. But again, if your comment is important and you don't want it to be having the chance of being skipped, that's really kind of the best way to do it. Megan Martinez says, my prediction for the Rise of Soilwalker is for 850 to 1.1 billion as of right now. Whoa, after typing this, you said the same prediction as me. Hey, Megan Martinez, you know what? I think that you might be right. Edward Coleman, what is going on, good sir? Hope you are doing fine. Thanks for reaching out to me recently. He says, there's no way the evil Disney empire will let the Rise of Skywalker make under $1 billion. Disney will do anything and everything they have to. Yeah, and I guess that's getting back into the discussion that we've had for a long time about, are they controlling the box office? Are they faking the numbers? And while they absolutely could be doing that, there really has been no evidence so far. Like tangible. There's a lot of speculation. I think the speculation is rooted in a lot of reasoning, but we don't have any receipts of them doing it. Anytime someone says, oh, but look at all these images of the theaters selling out. Again, that stuff's been disproven. There's strong cases that have been made against that. So that also doesn't hold water either. So when you say that, if you mean they're going to market the hell out of this film and they're going to take over every single theater and they're going to make every theater show 20 showtimes, that, yes, I believe they will do that. And that could strong arm the theaters enough to where enough people will have to see it because it's the only thing that's going to be showing at any given time. That they can do and have done in the past. So yes, if you're saying that, absolutely. But anything other than that is pure speculation at this point in time. Tina says, that is hilarious about you discussing chitlins with someone else. Yeah, it was a student that asked me about it too. Oh, man. Let's see here. Greta says, that was not positive. I meant incredibly bad. Oh, Greta. Okay, I misread it then. I must have misread it. Thanks for clarifying it, Greta. Oh, man, I'm sorry about that. Oh, it happens, though. It happens. John Early says, I ate lasagna and Texas toast tonight, Father. I'll father. Sounds delicious. Hardwick says, it's blatantly obvious that Rise of Soywalker resurrected Palpatine because Rian Johnson killed off Snoke, and the only way of compensating that JJ could think up was to replace Snoke with Palpatine. I think that's a good point. It's a great point. Though they could have brought Snoke back, theoretically. I mean, theoretically, they could have. So I think that there might be more to it than that. Slicer says, I first heard the phrase chitlins from a Muppet VCR tape I had as a kid. Floyd of Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem favorite band asked if Piggy and Kermit would tie the knot and raise chitlins. Oh, I love that. That's a great quote. Zach Gregg says, Nin to 9. That's going to make more than that, man. Christopher Mills, The Mandalorian is not worth the admission fee of Disney Plus. Yeah, I could see why I think it is actually, if you do the free trial. It's worth the free trial. That is a fact. Alex McCarthy says, Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. Baby Yoda, boomer. Okay. Oh, I love it. Larry, they can't help spewing woke feminism. Poor Opie. Yeah, seriously. Hypernex 13. Can I discuss Parasite spoilers or still a no, my master Odin? You can, yeah, at this point in time, sure. If anyone actually cares to see Parasite, you should have seen it already. Orange Eye Review says, I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices gasped in horror. Then they said all at once, Go home, Kathleen, you blind fool. Fool of a took. Nathan Slay, about Endgame. I loved it very, very much, and it's very precious to me, but I will admit it has more flawed than Infinity War was. Well, Nathan Slay, as I say on the channel a lot, I respect any person's opinion if they liked the movie. But just like you just did there, Nathan, you admitted that it's flawed, that objectively there's problems. And I would say maybe you'd be willing to say that objectively speaking, the story is not very good. The story has a lot of problems with it. And I respect you for that. If you say, despite all those things, I still enjoyed it, I'm like, hey, you're being honest, and I'm not going to attack you for your opinion. However, when we're talking objective reality, we always must be very clear. We always must be very clear about what's going on. So, Nathan, I appreciate it, man. Again, nothing against you for liking the movie at all. You're not the only one on this stream right now that likes that movie. Anthem21X, it's been a long time. Anthem says, oh, hi, Odin. I just saw the new Tommy Wiseau Star Wars mashup, and my sides hurt from laughing. By the way, I watched Mighty's Specialized Edition last night and felt like a kid watching my old VHS. Anthem, dude, for one thing, that video has been sent to me. I haven't watched it yet, but I love anything with Tommy Wiseau. That is for damn sure. Damn sure. For me, you mentioning the Specialized Edition. So for anyone that didn't watch my video the other day, I recently discovered new editions of Star Wars. So there's a group of fans out there, a part of Team -1. Some of you may have already heard of them. And they are also, like Harmy's, the Specialized Edition, trying to preserve the original Star Wars. They're doing it in a slightly different way. So while Harmy, in his version, basically did this Frankenstein, he took cuts from like 1,000 different copies and then put certain images, and it's crazy. Look it up on YouTube. Look up Harmy's Despecialized Edition on YouTube, and there's a breakdown. There's a couple of videos where it shows you how he made his copy. It's insane what he was able to do and get a full HD Blu-ray edition of the film. Another group out there, as I said, Team -1, they have been taking, for one, they have one movie where it's one, I want to say it was a 35 millimeter print of the original Star Wars film they found, and they scanned it at 4K, or rather for that one, they scanned it at 2K resolution, and then they color corrected it and made it into the original Star Wars from one of the original negatives. Like, it was truly amazing. But since then, they've gotten more editions. Since they started their work, more people have said, hey, I have this copy. Hey, I have this reel. Hey, use this, use that. And so now they're taking a bunch of different reels, like actual film prints, scanning them in and putting them together. And they've already finished the original Star Wars and Return of the Jedi, and they're still working on Empire. But I have a few of those. So the first one I talked about, how they used one 35 millimeter print and scanned it and color corrected it, is called Star Wars the Silver Screen Edition. So I have that one now, and it looks beautiful. I love it. I have the 4K resolution. Well, it's the 4K project. I have it at the 2K resolution for Blu-ray because I can't burn 4K copies yet. But anyway, it's the Star Wars from the original film prints, which, again, the whole process is fascinating to watch. I also have, since they don't have Empire out yet, they have this edition called the Renegade Grindhouse Edition. So this is an original film print that's been scanned. It doesn't have any color correction. So you're looking at basically a film as it would be seen. So if you were watching the film reel they had, if someone was playing it on an actual projector, that's what you would see. So it has all of the dirt, all of like the cracks and everything like that. It's kind of fascinating. I love it. As a film geek, I'm like, yes, more of that, please. And then, of course, I have Return of the Jedi, which is the 4K, 2K transfer. And I have the Grindhouse version of Return of the Jedi, too. So it's amazing what they're able to do. I know some people might be saying, where are you finding it? Just look up Project 4K 77, 4K 80, and 4K 83. Again, obviously corresponding to the years each Star Wars film came out. And you'll find the blogs to find more information about it. Sorry for that rant, but I had to say it. Captain K-Man over on DLive says, wait, Odin is white? Next you'll say he has a movie blog. What? A movie blog? I know. Isn't that just funny? Over on YouTube, Rhaegar Targaryen says, just thinking about the possibility of a Victor Van Freeze solo film gives me chills. Zakarot says, DC makes good animated movies. Yes. But I was talking about the live action. Thank you, Tina, for letting them know. Zach Gray says, Disney has no imagination. I agree. Rhaegar Targaryen, if Taskmaster doesn't have a gritty Bostonian accent, I might have to pass. Soul Assassin, what's your thoughts on the rumors Disney is planning to remake the Predator franchise? Please don't. That franchise needs a little bit of a break. And since you would probably make some, kid-friendly PG-13 version, no thank you. Please. Hardwick says, in the comics, Black Widow was enhanced with biotechnology that made her age super slowly and gave her a slight healing factor, as well as a boost in strength and agility. Well, I kind of hope they bring that into the forefront, because it would make a lot more sense as to how she's able to go toe-to-toe with aliens. Tina says, James Cameron has issues with his exes. One beat him for Best Director. That is true. For those that don't know, Catherine Bigelow is one of the exes of James Cameron and beat his Avatar with her Hurt Locker. Jeremy Swiggs, War of the Planet of the Apes ending was good and sad. It was, but it was very solid. Venom Broly 93, I never was really into Star Wars universe at first. I liked the toys, but classic Trek was superior to Star Wars for me. I only liked Vader in that time, so Mandalorian, never mind. Yeah, and again, it's not going to be for everyone. Tina says, Baby Yoda equals Xenomorph facehugger in hiding. Nah, I don't know what it is, but I'm beyond caring now. I remember when that came up on the stream. Oh, no, it's not. It's not a Xenomorph facehugger. It's beautiful. Sasha says, Baby Yoda is the space messiah that might save Disney Lucasfilm from their sins. I hope. Oh, man. Alice McCarthy says, Duck Fisney kind of enjoyed the Dumbo remake. It wasn't needed or necessary, but even if and when Disney puts something out like something I like, it still doesn't excuse them. Yep, Alex, you're right. We can say we like something, but it doesn't excuse them for all the crap that they've done previously. Hardwick says, it's not commonly known today, but many of the first big serial action stars of the 1910s were women, such as Pearl White, Helen Holmes, Ruth Roland, and Kay Aldridge. I'm sure Tina could add a lot to that discussion. All right, chat jumped on me again. Let us see where we are in the chat. All right, looks like comments were... Let me see. Looks like comments were possibly skipped. Hold on. Were they skipped? It's hard to say. It is hard to say. Captain Dean Heist, thank you very much for the diamond donation. He says, Hail Baby Yoda. Yes. Thank you, Captain Dean Heist. Hail Baby Yoda. Damn right. Damn right. Maggie Martinez says, Nolan's Tenet is reportedly getting a prologue for IMAX screenings of The Rise of Skywalker and a theatrical trailer for standard screenings of that film. Damn, man. Well, it looks like because someone got me tickets for it, that I'll be able to see a little bit of extra for that film. It's very exciting. Charzy over on YouTube says, I heard DP, Deadpool will be in Phase 5. Only way this will work is if it's R-rated. Yeah, wait, I read that comment. Yeah, I already read that comment. So yeah, dude, don't double dip. if you're going to double dip and you're not going to pay attention when the comment was read, yeah, don't do that, man. That's that. There's very few things that get to me. Those are the things that get to me, man. I know it's something so small, but just, it's okay. It's okay. All right, Harvey Bentho says, to be fair, Alita is based on manga, which is an ongoing format which is more commonly used in TV than movies. A TV show could spend more time developing the characters and stories. That is true, but it's the effects that I'm worried about. If you're going to use the same effects, that's going to translate better onto a big screen. That's the main point there. And then JJ says, whenever you feel is best, sir. Well, thank you, JJ. We'll see. I don't know how much longer I can go because my back's starting to cramp up a little bit, but definitely will be doing that giveaway. Jay Stowe says, no surprise hearing about Disney wanting to do a Planet of the Apes. Seems like they're trying to feed off stuff that was about ran its course. The recent Planet of the Apes are good as is. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Father Christopher Miller says, I'm going to wait until Riff Tracks Mystery Science Theater 3000 comes up with their Soy Walker commentary. Venom in Dragon Ball, Trunks goes back in past to save Goku from illness, but it doesn't affect his own timeline. Goku's still dead in his future, an alternate timeline. These timelines don't cross. But you see, at least they explain it, and it does make sense within the context of their story. Not so much in in Endgame. Bruce says, we have assigned seating here, so I'll have to wait. I'll wait till I know I can, but a ticket for something else and walk into Star Wars knowing I can get a seat. Yeah, Bruce, the way that you do that, man, is you get the ticket to whatever it is that you want to give your money to, and then you just sit in there. Basically, you just sit in there, and then as soon as the movie's about to start, look at your seat, like look to buy a ticket, because you can usually buy a ticket up until I think 20 minutes into the movie or so. And if you look to buy the ticket, you can then look and see what seats are available. You might not get the best seat, but that is a way to do it. Allegedly, of course. I do not endorse such behavior. Allegedly, of course. J Money J, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, so far the best lovable characters in Star Wars is Baby Yoda. He surpasses BB-8, Porgs, and even R2-D2. I would agree with you there. Especially those damn Porgs. They're cute, but man, they're annoying. Slice of Neon says, I strongly recommend seeing Klaus. Beautiful holiday movie. Great 2D animation. # lost art. Better than anything Disney did this year. Never heard of it. Tina says, YouTube is dead like a dead parrot. That's pretty dead right there. Hammer, has Alita 2 been confirmed? No, it has not. Hardwick says, DC hasn't built up the unquestioningly devoted viewership that Marvel has, but the better DC movies often do get larger audiences. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Joker. Yeah, but as I said before, the only really good movie is Joker. And, Wonder Woman didn't cross $1 billion, like almost, like a lot of the big, huge Marvel films have gotten. So it's still hard. It's still a hard thing to sell, I'd say. They still need to find their voice. Maga Martinez says, I'm more excited for Red Letter Media's take on the rise of Soy Walker. It should be very interesting. Yes, it should be. Jerry Swiggs, I'm skipped often. I just keep repeating like an annoying teen girl until Odin hears me. But you don't, though, because I've never, in this one stream alone, I've never double read your comments. You just pay attention. So when you post your comment again, it's probably because your comment was actually skipped because you were paying attention. Edward Coleman says, yes, I was talking about how they strong-arm theaters. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I need to see evidence. Boom. Awesome, Edward. Glad to hear that because I'm right there with you. I'm on your side because, yes, that is something that we can prove. That is something that we can show. The conspiracies we can't. So I'm glad that you are on the side of reason. Bruce says, did you hear South Korea filed an antitrust against Disney? I did not, but yes. Thank you, South Korea. Thank you. Slice of Neon says, you hear 88% of South Korea theaters were for Frozen 2. I liked it, but that's too much. Duck Disney and this monopoly takeover. Well, I guess that's the reason why they're suing or why they're claiming antitrust, because 88% of their theaters, that's insane. Yeah, I hope that they get caught. Hardwick says, while I wanted Endgame to end on Steve and Peggy dancing, the way I wanted to happen was for Steve to sacrifice himself somehow, but unwittingly get sent to the 1940s instead of dying. Yeah, I think that would have been a better overall story, for sure. Hardwick also says, Ride of the Valkyries is the public domain, and some recordings of it are public domain and or royalty free. If you stay away from copyright recordings of it, you'd be fine. Yeah. Oh, man. Hardwick, man. I love you. I do. But you have so many comments. And I'm sure anyone here in the conversation goes, man, that guy's name gets said a lot. I'm going to have to start charging you for these comments, man. So Hardwick also says, I wonder what the fan response would have been like if they had killed Natasha off in Endgame by having her die from a Black Widow spider bite. Not good, man. That sounds terrible. All right, Graham Mastiota says, Joker is only $3 million from kicking out Aladdin from the top 5. Is it? Let me double check that. Aladdin box office. So let's see, 1.051. Here's the problem, though. It might beat Aladdin. So it has a chance of beating Aladdin. It's still going to be a little hard because it has slowed down a lot. But the biggest problem with that, Frozen 2 is about to cross the $1 billion mark and will get into the top 5. So Joker will be a top 6 at best, sadly. So even if it does beat Aladdin, which you're right, it's within that range, it's not going to beat Frozen. So sadly, it's not going to be in the top 5 at this point. Alex McCarthy says, how about the stream the other night on Mark the Cyborg's channel? Dude, Alex, all right, I admitted on the stream I'm not good at Smash Brothers. I'm new to it on the Switch. I have not played a lot on the Switch with that game. I'm much more of a Mario Kart person, less buttons to press, much more simple for a man like me. So once we start playing some Mario Kart, I'll start showing up a little bit more. But give a man some slack, all right? But seeing Chris, Darth Barbie, destroy Jeremy was beautiful. Captain Wingster says, Odin is a nice guy who values all opinions. I, however, do not. And if you like Disney's fan fiction, shame on you. Shame on you and all the members of your house. Damn, Captain Wingster. That's some harsh fire right there, man. Some harsh fire. Captain K-Man over on D-Live, thank you for the ice cream. And Captain Dean High says, Fisney really dropped the ball on merch for Baby Yoda. Yeah, seriously. It's like, did they not realize that it was, to me, it actually kind of exposes Disney. Because notice this. Disney had all of the merch ready for Frozen 2. Like, even all of the new characters have merch. But they didn't expect that Baby Yoda was going to be successful. To me, that exposes that they did not have full confidence in that show, which to me speaks volumes about the current people running Disney and Lucasfilm, is that they don't understand quality content when it's even right in front of their noses. Hybrid says, on Parasite, spoilers. So if you don't want to know spoilers for Parasite, which is a great film, it's going to be my number 1 or number 2 film of the year at this point in time. Close your ears until my hand's down. What do you think The Rock symbolized? In my interpretation, I feel like it was a parasite of itself that eventually brought misfortune to the poor family. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really dug too deep into that main point about what The Rock represented, but I think that you have a decent point. And also, I don't really think that's much of a spoiler, so I'm going to put my hand down. That doesn't really spoil anything. Hardwick says, have you ever seen Obi-Wan Star Wars Revisited fan edits? He hasn't finished Return of the Jedi yet, but his version of The Empire Strikes Back is the definitive version of the movie so far as I'm confirmed. Well, here's my problem, Hardwick. He adds his own stuff. He's not being true to the original cuts of the movie. He's adding his own stuff. He's adding his own images, which you can argue it makes the film better, but it's not the original. So no, there's only 2 definitive cuts of the movie, and that's Harmy's Despecialized Edition and the 4K 77 or the Team -1 edition, because those are the only 2 that are trying to be as close to the original as it was shown in 1977, 80, and 83 as possible. Again, I think what I do not have access. I have not seen Obi-Wan's yet. I don't know where to find it to download it to be able to burn it onto a Blu-ray. But from what I know about his cuts, he adds his own stuff. So he adds stuff that was not in the original film to make it better, which you might argue he does, but it's not the original. He's basically doing what George Lucas did, adding stuff in, but it makes it better for most people. So Destiny 28 says, Harmony Specialized Edition is amazing. Actually watching the originals in HD is beautiful. Yeah, I agree. It really is. It's spectacular to see. Jeremy Swiggs, I really like Alita. Odin is a Ryan fan, and I can't wait for Alita 2. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Bruce says, can't Disney hire people that can think of original crap? Yes. They could, but they don't. They could, but they do not. All right. Let us see here. Nathan Slay says, Internet Terminator franchise on ice after Dark Fate bombs Internet 3 years later. This just in, Disney plans to remake the entire Terminator franchise. Oh, just wait. I'm sure that's going to be coming down the pike pretty soon. Larry says, film companies would store their original negatives and prints in a salt mine in Kansas. Are you trying to say that that's where they could because it would help preserve them? I guess you could argue that. Well, I know that apparently, I think the Library of Congress has original cuts of Star Wars because I think they're being preserved. But obviously, fans don't have access to them. I wish they did because Disney ain't doing anything with it. And if they do, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for it. Bruce says, getting a Baby Yoda plush is like the 1977's empty box champion for Christmas 97. Yeah, seriously. Orange Hat Reviews, did you know that Baby Yoda was born the same year as Anakin Skywalker? My brother pointed that out. Something there, maybe. Yeah, I know that that's been one thing that a couple people have brought up, that the age similarity between them is very, very close. Kind of pretty much exact as far as the year go. So, yeah, I think there could be. That's why, as I said, even though episode 4 sucked, I'm still interested in these characters and their origin or where they're going, you know? So, yeah, I think there could be something to that. Mike Martinez, I bet the Tenet prologue will be way better than the Rise of Soywalker. Nolan does a really good job marketing his films. He does, because he doesn't reveal too much. HyperNX13, more spoiler talk. Do you think Ki Woo, the son, ended up reuniting with his father? I don't think it ended up happening. I love how it's ambiguous. It's not ambiguous. That's the thing. It's not. He doesn't. The whole point of it, or I guess it depends on what you mean. So at one point they show him, so this is Parasite spoiler talk. I'm not going to put my hand up. At one point they show him in the house, but they make it clear that that is all fantasy. It's a fantasy. So do I think that he eventually over time got the money to do what he was planning on doing? Probably not. Based on his history, probably not going to get to that point. Did he ever reunite with his father? There's a chance. So that is definitely left up. That is definitely left ambiguous. Does he eventually get to the point he wants to? But if you're talking about when he visualizes himself in the home, that is clearly not real, if that's what you're talking about. Alice McCarthy says, don't double dip the chip. Yes, don't double dip that chip, please. Hardwick says, if I recall right, the reason the MCU Black Widow isn't revealed to be enhanced is that Whedon thought it would be more empowering to women to have it be good from training alone. Yes, but then you take it into reality and that doesn't work. So I hope that they eventually retcon that. J Money J, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, I have a feeling that Birds of Prey film will be woke feminist propaganda. I heard Ewan McGregor compare his character to Donald Trump and patriarchy. I heard the same thing, and I think you're absolutely right, and that's why I have a lot of doots about it. Okay, they fixed the action. So what? The action can be great, but if the story is woke as hell, it's not going to be good. Captain Wingster, I always double dip, especially for chicken fingers and ranch. Also, I couldn't sleep, so hello. Bruce says, no Alita TV series, dear God. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Hyper, more spoiler talk. Also, I love how unpredictable it was. Couldn't believe the sister and rich father ended up not lasting. Yeah, absolutely. CW Trixie says, Baby Yoda eating fried pork while hanging with Chewie and the Mandalorian. Alice McCarthy, a Rise of Skywalker TV spot played while I'm watching The Flash. Yikes, the music they had was just nah, bruh. Captain Gentry over on DLive, Baby Yoda, what it proves to me is that they honestly believe the problem with Star Wars fatigue. That's why there's no Yoda merch. I think that's a great point. That's a great point. Because it matches with what I said too, of they honestly thought that, or they didn't know that it was going to be this successful. Because, as you said, they believed that the lie that, oh no, people aren't seeing it because of Star Wars fatigue. It's too much, too fast. Blah, 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 blah. No, it's because you give us crap. That's why. You gave us chitlins that were not washed. That's for Tina. You gave us chitlins that were not washed, which means you gave us stuff full of crap. That's what happened. He goes on, they didn't want to risk spending money on it. They weren't sure it'd sell because all their other stuff hasn't sold. Yeah. Boom. You got it, man. Sasha Neon says, Klaus is a Netflix original. Please see review if you want. Favorite animated film of the year. Nice. Hammer says 4K 77 and 4K 83 have exemplary sound as well. One of their audio track selections was transferred from the original 70mm 6-track mag stems to uncompressed 6-channel DTS HD. For any sound people out there, that's awesome. Harway Bentho says, Gene Simmons of KISS recently said he thinks that The Mandalorian is better than the Star Wars movies. It's a fact. Bruce, yeah, Frozen 2 theater count was the issue. They went over the max limit. Yeah, I would say so. Captain Wingster says, Odin, you're going to start charging for comments? Let me tell you about my business model. only for the people that say way too much. I say that with all love. Selection Leon says, did I say theaters? I meant screens. Clownfish TV covered it today. I say Disney. You say Monopoly. Alex McCarthy, High Council is in 30 minutes on Mecha Random's channel for those who like to know. There you go. Mecha Random will be hosted. That's awesome. That's really cool. In fact, speaking of which, I forgot that I was invited for future reference. Doesn't look like I was invited onto tonight's stream, though. But yeah, that's right. I forgot that Jeff reached out about me joining in the future. So we'll see. Captain Wingster says, Mark dishonored me with his portrayal of Snake. I was playing Metal Gear Solid while listening. Speaking of the High Council, it's now going to be starting with about 18 minutes, so I do need to start wrapping things up. So I'm going to be skipping comments. So now I will be skipping comments on YouTube. Jay Stowe says, cool you mentioned the release date for the Joker. Just pre-ordered the Steelbook and so stoked to get a release date on at my Best Buy. Boom, Jay Stowe. There you go, man. Yeah, dude, I'm so pumped. All right. Tina says, okay, I'd buy a plush baby Yoda before an ugly whatever these sisters call from Frozen, which I have never seen and never will see. I hear you there. 70B says, where are the girls? They are with Mama. Rhaegar Targaryen, the Hulk is slamming capitalism and calling for an economic revolution. Hulk talk too much. Yes, he is. Bruce says, no, George hasn't given them an original print of the movie. They do not want the remaster that he offered them. It must be original release cut, so they do not want to have a copy yet. I hear you there. Nathan Slay, I'm so glad you and I are on the same page that Ready Player One is overrated and not that good. It's not. The book is great. Movie's not. Jace Doe was watching a video about making the specialized editions. Did you know that Lucas wanted the 1997 edition for preservation like the originals, but they denied it? Good. Because it doesn't deserve to be preserved. But you know what's cool? The group that's preserving all these movies are preserving almost every cut of the film. Alex McCarthy says, plus Yoda was a Jedi Master at 100. Yeah, that's a good point. Tina says, unwashed chitlins. I want that burned into all your brains when you see episode 9. And HyperNX13, yeah, I agree. It's a pretty sad ending. Thanks for the chat about it, though. Would love to discuss it more next time. Yeah, it really is, but it's also a great ending. It's a great movie, great ending. It is absolutely freaking fantastic. All right, well, we got through all of those. Let us go ahead and shout out some peeps. So I don't think I have updated my list yet, but I think that the list is accurate here. Let's see. in my general list on Patreon. So let me shout out some people. Let's see. How many people does it say I have? How many people does it say I have? Active 28. Perfect. All right, so let me give a huge shout out to my December Patreon supporters: animation commentator Brian P., Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Fan Addicts of Film, Father Christopher Miller, Frank the Tank and the Sean Weeder Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky, Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ, Jonathan Jarenbeck, Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Patrick Layden, Perpetual Punster, Reef Magos, Rosetta Allen, The DJD Show, Theodore Benden, Those Two Ball Guys, and U.S. Dutch Kitty. Thank you so much for being amazing and beautiful people. And also a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star subscribers: Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Alex McCarthy, US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. And because I do want to shout them because they have been patrons for a long time, and there's a lot of just weirdness going on with Subscribe Star, and one did just recently leave because of various things. So Laura Story, shout out to you. Thank you for all your support throughout the last several months. And History Girl, Tina B., thank you for your support as well, as hopefully they're able to take care of everything on your end. But I'm going to shout you out tonight anyway. The list as it was presented first, though, that's going to be the list going forward for this upcoming month. So, yeah, you guys are freaking awesome. Nathan Slay, I have to get going. So do I. Alex Carthy, God bless you. Have a good night. You have a good night also. Let's see any last minute comments. Tina says, Subscribe Star supposedly took care of things. Supposedly. Well, I hope they do. I hope they take care of that for you. Anyone else? I think that's it. Anyway, you guys are freaking awesome. Go check out Mecha Random's channel. That is the place to be. Again, that is the place to be if you want to support the High Council this evening. Also, Chris Stanley, thank you for the $5 donation. Says, Hail Odin, got here late, damn work. Sorry to hear that, Chris Stanley. Thank you for the donation. Regardless, man, I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that donated tonight, everyone that chatted tonight, everyone that stuck it out. Greta, thank you for being here once again. Again, Greta and Tina, y'all need to get together and make that channel. Jay Stowe, Nanu. Yes, Slice of Neons. Will episode 9 make 500 million stateside? It could. Yeah. It definitely, it's theoretical. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, go ahead and look up those versions of Star Wars I mentioned. They're brilliant. They're beautiful. They're very large files, and it's going to take some effort to get, but once you have them, they're just gloriously beautiful. And yeah, thank you for being here. And also, if you are on Subscribestar or Patreon and you are of the $5 and up tier, you enter yourself in for random giveaways. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a couple of the copies that were donated by JJ, because he gave 2 4Ks and 2 Blu-rays. I think I'm going to do 1 4K and 1 Blu-ray over for Subscribestar and on Patreon. If you are a Patreon supporter at $5 and above, do check your messages, because in order to be eligible, you have to join the Discord, because Patreon will not let me do giveaways there anymore because they're stupid. So if you are a $5 and up patron over there and you want to have access to the giveaways, make sure you check your messages, join the Discord server. That way I can get you set up, and that way you get access to the special tab that's just for Patreon people, $5 and up. That way you can have access to enter in for these giveaways, because there's right now a giveaway that's still open on Subscribestar and Patreon for some digital download codes that I'm going to be giving away over there. So I'll do 1 copy of 4K Joker, 1 copy of Joker on Blu-ray over there, and then I'll give away the other 2 on this stream in the future. Probably Saturday stream, if I had to guess. Sia Productions, what's going on, man? Check your cookie counts on the way out. You guys are freaking awesome. Have a wonderful evening. And as always, God bless.